Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, I hope you're doing well. Today I thought we'd have a look at another article. This one is again from This Is Money and it's cars that died in 2023, 10 major models that reached the end of the road. This actually surprised me because I didn't know a lot of these were going to be phased out, and actually it's quite sad, a lot of them really, I think, because a lot of them have been kind of aspirational cars for me growing up. I've wanted them ever since I knew they existed, and they're going. It's strange. I guess it's down to a lot of the electrification of cars these days, which is a shame. But anyway, we will look through the list and talk about them as we go. So number one on the list is the Ford Fiesta. I did know about this one, and because it's a big surprise. Strange they would get rid of this. It's, you know, one of the best-selling cars of Britain. One of the most owned cars. They are great cars. They've got great reputation and history. But I think due to the fact that Ford Pumas or something, Ford Puma EcoSports or something, were outselling them. These kind of mild crossover little hot hatch. Everyone wants a mini SUV thing these days, which is a shame really, because they're just not as good of a car as a Ford Fiesta. It's actually quite sporty, handles well, and is a good all-round car. So that one definitely is a shame. I think somewhere in here they got a picture of the last one that came off the production line last year. Everyone on the production line signed it, so I imagine that'll end up in the Ford Museum somewhere. But yeah, it's a strange choice to get rid of that one, really. But I guess on the plus side, it does mean that future generations won't have Fiesta STs with Pop and Crackle Max hanging around the McDonald's. Number two on the list, and quite upsetting for me, is the Audi R8. Ever since these came out, I think probably around about 2007, with a manual V8. I've wanted one of these desperately. I remember it being on Top Gear, and I think Jeremy Clarkson said it was so modern looking, stylish. I really liked the blades, they called them, down the side. You could have carbon fiber options. It appealed to me in the fact that it seemed like a supercar that was a bit more dramatic than a Porsche 911, but you could still use it every day. It wasn't ridiculous and completely flamboyant, and it was usable, and being Audi, it was probably going to be reliable to a degree, maybe not these days, but it definitely appealed to me. I remember seeing that and thinking, God, that is a car I would like to own one day. I think the other appealing thing about it was that it wasn't quite as I say, flamboyant as, say, a Lamborghini, but it was built by the same people, shared a lot of common parts, and at least originally the price tag was a lot less, so it was far more attainable. I don't know, was it maybe £100,000? I think they're an awful lot more than that these days. Not that you can buy one now. In 2023, I think there were an awful lot more. So in fact, it says here, the R8 signed off in 2023 with a final run of GT rear-wheel drive special edition cars. Just 15 were available in the UK with an asking price in the region of £200,000. It does look pretty incredible though. Obviously, it's not going to stop me buying an older one, and the original V8 ones are really kind of obtainable these days. 20 to 30,000, you might get a bit of a leggy, rougher one, especially if you get one at Copart and you want to rebuild it yourself. There's plenty of smashed up ones around for parts. So you can still get one of those, but it's sad that, although it probably never would have happened anyway, it's always nice to have a dream that one day you could walk into an Audi dealership and buy a brand new Audi R8. Not that I think I'll ever buy any brand new car, I'm just not that type of person, but it's a loss for the motoring world all the same. In at number three is the Jaguar F-Type. It wasn't particularly long-lived, this one, was it? It looks like probably 10 years. The F-Type convertible arrived in 2013, followed by the coupe in 2014, but has been a casualty of Jaguar's transition to an EV-only premium brand from 2025 onwards, which again is a shame. I remember these coming out, they were meant to be really great, and again, they're kind of quite obtainable price-wise these days, especially if you want to get a V6 twin-turbo one. I think it is. Don't jump down my throat if I got that wrong. They do a V6 version, which I believe is turbocharged or perhaps supercharged, and there is the V8 version as well. I would love to have a V8 version. I guess it's probably a V8 supercharged one as well. While all these combustion engine cars seem to be disappearing because they're going to EV, it's quite nice that they're doing like one-off kind of final edition special cars, but it's a bit sad really that we're not going to be seeing this type of car anymore. with the F-Type, these ZP edition cars, of which just 150 will be made for the global market, only 10 being made currently are allocated to the UK, essentially meaning the F-Type has already disappeared from dealers. So doing this last special model, and then that will be it. Number 4 on the list is the Ford Galaxy. I gotta be honest, I thought the Ford Galaxy had already gone in place of the Ford S-Max. I guess I did know that that wasn't the case. All the same, it's not one of those cars you necessarily think of. Will I cry about its disappearance? I won't, but I'm sure some families will. I wonder what the replacement alternative is meant to be. Interestingly, it says one company that will sorely miss the Galaxy is Addison Lee. The Ford MPV has been the backbone of its premium taxi service for years. That's probably where I would have seen them, is loaded up on Aston Barclay transporters, because I seem to see a load of these Galaxies owned by Addison Lee going for sale at Aston Barclay. So I guess I did know they were still around. Interestingly, it says while Ford was selling around 60,000 Galaxy MPVs across Europe in 1999, in 2022 it was shifting just 5,600 units. Interestingly, the article says it isn't the only MPV Ford killed off last year, as you will find out later on in this article. So is that also going to be the S-Max? Probably is. Number 5 is the Volkswagen Up, or the UPI, as some of our customers have called it in the past. I wonder if that means the Seat Me and what else is the other one? The Skoda Citigo are also all gone because they are basically the same car, or is it just Volkswagen that are getting rid of them at the moment? I wonder if we'll find out. First introduced in 2011 at just under £8,500, the Up arrived as one of the cheapest cars in British dealerships. However, in recent years, the starting price has crept up to just over 15 grand, which is most likely due to the deletion of the 3-door example and lower trim levels, as well as the addition of more powerful turbocharged engines. Most of them came with that 1-litre 3-cylinder engine, which is actually a pretty decent little engine. Same engine as I had in the iGo X I had in Lanzarote the other day, which was gutless going up and down volcanoes, but for around town, not bad. Interestingly, it says production of the electric E-Up, which had a claimed 160-mile range, has also halted. They'd also dropped massively in value. If you haven't seen our video on EV depreciation, check that out. Over here, some of these electric vehicles, despite the fact that we are kind of being ushered into them completely, the values are actually tanking. Is it because of less demand? Who knows? Well, at least the article does give me the answer to the question I gave earlier. Sharing a platform and powertrains with the Seat Me and Skoda Citigo in a bid by parent company VW Group to keep manufacturing costs low, the Up has managed to outlive its sister models. The Me went out of production in 2020, who knew, while Citigo output stopped a year later. So I gotta be honest, I didn't realise they'd stopped making those, so shows how much I know. Now, before we get into the next car, I just want to take a quick minute to talk to you about today's video sponsor, which is Vehicle Score. And the reason I want to talk to you about them today is because they've added some new features to their website, something that I asked for, and I'm sure plenty of others did as well. If we input the registration of our Navara, which is Sierra Lima 67, Hotel Papa Juliet, it's going to give us a score. I dread to think what it will be. Not too bad. 720 out of 909, that's good. You know how all the system works. It will give you a score on your car. It's completely free. It gives you MOT history. It gives you a mileage tracker, all of that good stuff. And if you wanted to do a check on a vehicle before you bought one, then you certainly can do. And their best report is the Insured Ultimate Report, which is £9.97. But if you use my code Shifting Metal 20, you get 20% off, making it just £7.98 or £7.99. One of the best value checks out there. I highly recommend doing it. But the new feature I want to talk about is, well, I'd ask them to put some color things in there for the tax and MOT. As you can see here, our MOT is valid for 268 days. It's taxed for another 198 days. There is now a ULEZ checker on here. So not only can you check MOT, tax, the score of your vehicle, mileage, all for free, you can also do a free ULEZ check. So if we tap here to check that, ULEZ compliant. I thought it should have been because it's Euro 6, so I know that if the guys are doing a collection anywhere in London within that ULEZ zone, they can do it. That's such a handy feature to have. So go to vehiclescore.co.uk, you can check out your car, you can save it as an icon on your phone as well, so you can pop that up just like an app. If you're looking around cars to buy, you want to know whether they're going to be ULEZ compliant, makes a big difference the closer you are to London. It's right there, all that information in the palm of your hand. So handy. And number 6 seems to be a whole group of cars. It is Volvo Saloons and Estates, S60, V60, S90 and V90, which again is a massive shame because they are absolutely great cars. We've had, what did we have in? The V90 cross country. If we can find a video, I'll put that here. What a great car that was. Everyone fell in love with that. Brilliant. But again, I guess it's because they're going to electric vehicles, and rather than just making electric versions of the same cars, they must be bringing out new models, I assume. I'm sure there's a tactical kind of business reason for that, rather than just putting electric motors into the same models and keeping that brand alive. The article says the decision has been made due to the company wanting to prioritize fully electric cars, the increased demand for larger SUV models, and a shrinking appetite for the more traditional vehicle segments. I guess that's true when it comes to sales. More people, if they want a big family car these days, they are less likely to want an estate than they are to want an SUV, even if they don't really need it. They just think it gives them more space and it's a bigger car and better. 9 times out of 10 for their use. It may well not be. They might be better off with a more saloon estate car that probably has just as much space, if not more, than a hoiked up SUV, but that's the way the market is going. Volvo said, we will naturally need to evolve and consolidate our lineup as we prioritise fully electric cars and make this technological transition. As a result, we've removed further models from the UK lineup. These include the S60, V60 and V90. Number 7 is a massive blow for me personally. It is the Rolls-Royce Dawn and Wraith. Not cars I'm probably ever going to own, but be interesting to see with Rolls-Royce, who've normally got 6 3/4 W12 engines, whether this is going to be down to go into electrification as well. I guess it is, because will they have any choice? I guess not. The arrival of the new Rolls-Royce Spectre means there's now no place in the lineup for the convertible Dawn and Wraith Coupe, previously the British luxury firm's smallest models. The final Dawn emerged from the Goodwood factory production line in April 2023 after a 7-year manufacturing run, having stopped taking orders for the V12 drop top and coupe models in March 2022. Interestingly, nowhere in this article does it say they are moving towards electric vehicles. They've just brought out the new model, so perhaps Rolls-Royce are hanging on to the combustion engine for a little bit longer than everyone else. Number 8, not one that particularly affects us much in the UK, although more so in recent years, I guess, is the Dodge Charger and Challenger. Goodbye to an American muscle car legend. Dodge, on the 22nd December 2023, produced its last Charger with a V8 engine. Does that mean they'll still make them with a different engine or an electric engine? While this isn't one that will impact the UK customers as such, it signals the end of one of America's all-time great muscle cars. Both the Dodge Charger and Challenger are no longer being produced with a V8 power plant, with the examples coming off the Ontario production line on the 22nd December 2023. The current models date back to 2006, but their names make up part of America's automotive folklore, with the Charger dating back to 1966 and the Challenger introduced in 1970. Okay, so interesting. It says the Charger and Challenger will likely no longer exist as different models, with Dodge set to consolidate them into one vehicle in the future. While it isn't necessarily the end of the road for the model name, Dodge will no longer produce a Charger or Challenger with a roaring Hemi 8-cylinder petrol power plant under the hood, essentially bringing an end to its American muscle car bloodline. The next generation will likely shift to an inline 6-cylinder petrol engine and later fully electric powertrains. So number 9, another one that I am quite disappointed about really, is the Audi TT, which has been incredibly popular ever since it was introduced in 1999. Everyone absolutely loved the original shape. I do and I don't. It's a Marmite car for me. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it, but it was a great car. I remember them being very aspirational. I think a manager, when I worked at Pizza Hut, we had a German manager lady and she had 3.2 V6 Quattro, and we were all absolutely dead jealous that we thought she was absolutely bawling out of control when she had that car. So it's a shame to see them go. I've absolutely loved the more recent generations, especially some of the 2-litre TFSIs with the DSG. Of course, the V6 has always been a great engine, but I think they're probably one of the best kind of, what do you say, budget, entry-level, everyday sports car. They do offer a lot. They're quick, they handle great, They look great. They've got great interiors and they're still practical. They've got a boot that opens up and you can put loads of stuff in it. I took one away for a little holiday in the Cotswolds, I think it was. We had one in stock that I bought through Car Sport for More. I thought I'm going to take that away. I took Sophie in it. She absolutely loved it. It was the perfect car for it. The Mark I TT is today considered one of the most influential car designs in recent times. Its uniquely bulbous curve, slope, coupe roofline, and wonderful sparse dashboard made it an instant hit with Britons, making it a popular choice in showrooms, as well as a common prop in late 90s and early noughties music videos. And it's the UK that's proven to be one of the TT's most successful markets globally. Here we see it, the Mark I versus, I guess this is a special edition 2023 model. In 2022, a total of 2,672 were purchased by Britons, which represented over 33% of the worldwide sales that year. Few models have lasted the test of time as well as the Audi TT, says Andrew Doyle, director at Audi UK. The brand's electrification plans means the TT will make way for a battery-powered replacement sometimes in the future. Sad. So number 10, and it is in fact the Ford S-Max that we talked about earlier. I bought one of these quite recently. I think we did a video on it. If we did, I'll ask Toby to put it up here. I'm a big fan of these. I think they're great cars. Same as the Galaxy, really. The Fords, they do make good kind of everyday family cars. But yeah, I guess it goes without saying, if they're going to be getting rid of some of their large MPVs, they tend to have bigger engines to actually make them, you know, an enjoyable car to drive, loaded up with 7 people and all your luggage going off on holiday. You probably don't want to do that with a 1-litre 3-cylinder engine. But if they're moving to electric, they're going to have to get rid of it. What the plan is, I don't know. What's coming out next, I don't know. We'll do another video on that. If you ask for it, I'm sure there is information out there I could find. So unbeknownst to me, Ford over 12 months ago confirmed plans to drop it, as well as the Fiesta and the Galaxy, as it moves towards an all-electric range of vehicles. The S-Max first arrived in the UK in 2007, fresh with a European Car of the Year award under its belt. The sportier take on the Galaxy was most popular in its first generation guise, on sale until 2015. The Mark II variant arrived in 2016, and even with hybrid technology, couldn't replicate the same level of success, especially with the SUV starting to take a strong hold of the market. And that is the story of all of this, I guess, is people generally want SUVs now. People want bigger cars. They just want that 4x4 kind of appearance. I think is a bit of a status symbol to have an SUV these days. So even if you have a faux SUV that doesn't even have 4-wheel drive and it's got a poxy little engine in it, people will still rather have that than a well-equipped and decently engined family car, you know, an estate or a saloon. Strange, really. And the other thing, of course, is electrification. Everything's going towards electric, which, do you know what, all these electric cars, it never used to really bother me, and I was a bit like, oh, well, okay, whatever. But as cars start dropping off the face of the earth and no longer being made, and it's going to be more and more just pure electric, it worries me, actually. It'll be interesting to see what happens, because I don't think they're the answer yet. I mean, maybe they will be in the future, but it'll be a sad day when you don't hear internal combustion engines kind of keeping our roads busy and it's all just whirs of electric motors. Makes you think, but maybe I'm just getting old. Who knows? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Should these manufacturers have kept these cars? Is it the right move? Are you looking forward to more electric vehicles, or do you think this is all going the wrong way? As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, subscribe. Don't forget you can check out my website, shiftingmetal.co.uk, where you can find all of my merchandise as well as all my discount codes. If you're looking to save your car, then visit my website, carsportformore.com. You can enter your registration and mileage. We can give you an instant valuation. If you're happy with that, we can collect the car from you, give you same-day payment, money in your bank before it leaves your site, and make it as hassle-free as possible. And if you need a vehicle moved, don't forget, we offer a lot of transport services. Head to barrowmotors.co.uk/transport and we can give you a quote there. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.